My friends, listen closely. There is a kind of love that saves, and there is a kind of love that destroys. There is kindness that heals, and there is kindness that enables destruction. Not everyone who asks for your help is meant to receive it. Not everyone who reaches for your hand is meant to walk with you. God gives us discernment, not just for our own protection, but so that we do not waste his blessings on those who refuse to honor them. You were not placed on this earth to be drained by those who refuse to change. You were not called to rescue those who are determined to drown. God warns us help must be given with wisdom, not just with emotion. Some people will take what you offer and still demand more. Some will cry for help, but reject every solution given. And some will pretend to be in need when, in reality, they are only looking for another opportunity to use you. So today I want you to hear this truth. There are people you must stop helping. There are battles that are not yours to fight, and there are burdens that belong to others, not you. Who are these people? Who has God warned you about? Open your eyes, because here are the 7 types of people you must not help. First, do not help those who refuse to take responsibility for their own lives. You can encourage, you can guide, but you cannot force someone to change. If they constantly blame others, if they never take accountability, if they reject every opportunity to rise, let them go. You are not their savior, and they are not your assignment. Second, do not help those who only seek to manipulate you. Some people do not want help, they want control. They use guilt, tears, and promises to keep you trapped in their cycle. They drain you emotionally, spiritually, and even financially. But hear me, love is not slavery. If someone only reaches for you when they need something, but disappears when you need them, they are not someone you are meant to carry. Third, do not help those who reject wisdom and correction. If a person refuses to listen, if they dismiss truth, if they mock wise counsel, then your help is wasted. God's word says that wisdom is given to those who seek it, but the fool rejects instruction and chooses destruction. Do not pour your energy into someone who refuses to grow. They will take your effort and still walk the wrong path. Fourth, do not help those who drain your spirit and block your purpose. Some people are not just struggling, they are distractions sent to pull you away from your calling. They consume your time, your peace, and your mind, leaving you too exhausted to fulfill what God has planned for you. You know the difference between a divine assignment and a spiritual distraction. Some people are not meant to be helped. They are meant mace. Fifth, do not help those who refuse to help themselves. There is a difference between a person who is struggling and a person who is lazy. There is a difference between someone who needs a hand up and someone who expects you to carry them. If they refuse to make an effort, if they do not respect the help they receive, then you must step back. God rewards effort, not entitlement. Sixth, do not help those who bring chaos into your life. If every time you help someone it brings drama, stress, and conflict, take that as a warning. God is not the author of confusion. A person who constantly brings trouble is not someone you are meant to invest in. Sometimes the best way to help someone is to let them face the consequences of their own choices. And finally, do not help those whom God has already told you to walk away from. This is the hardest one. Some of you know that God has been speaking to you, telling you to step back, but your heart keeps pulling you back in. You think you are doing the right thing, but in reality, you are disobeying God. When God tells you to release someone, it is because he sees what you do not. Trust him. Let them go. My friends, hear me well. Help is holy, but help must also be wise. God does not call us to carry those who refuse to walk. He does not ask us to give what is sacred to those who do not value it. Your love is precious. Your time is precious. Your energy is precious. Use it wisely. Do not let guilt, manipulation, or misplaced compassion keep you tied to people God has warned you about. There is a time to help, and there is a time to step away. There is a time to lift up, and there is a time to lift up. Ask God for discernment. Ask Him to show you where your love is needed and where it is being wasted. Walk in wisdom, walk in obedience, and trust that when you release what is not meant for you, God will fill your life with what is. Not everyone who reaches out for help is destined to receive it. You must learn to distinguish between those genuinely in need and those who are seeking an opportunity to take advantage of your kindness. The difference lies in their actions and attitudes toward the help they receive. True help encourages growth, not dependency. If you notice that someone is only willing to take but never to grow, be cautious. The right people will show gratitude and make efforts to help themselves. Helping the wrong people can gradually deplete your energy and divert your focus from your true calling. Sometimes the act of helping those who aren't ready or willing to change can feel like a never-ending cycle that leads to exhaustion. Your time, effort, and spirit are precious resources meant for those who are walking in faith. God's plan for your life requires your attention, not to be diverted by the endless demands of others. Protect your energy and focus on what truly brings purpose and alignment to your journey. You were not created to save everyone. While you have a loving and generous heart, the reality is that some people need to take ownership of their own actions. If they constantly deflect responsibility and refuse to own their decisions, helping them only empowers their victim mentality. You are not called to carry those who are unwilling to change. Genuine help involves offering guidance, but ultimately it is up to the person to make the necessary choices. Some people do not want help. They want to control you. They use your compassion as a tool for manipulation. It can be subtle in the form of guilt or blatant in emotional demands that serve their interests. These people rarely show appreciation or make genuine efforts to change. Instead, they drain your spirit while leaving you feeling used and unappreciated. Your kindness is a gift, not something to be used to serve another's hidden agenda. People who consistently blame others for their struggles will not change until they choose to take responsibility. Every time you try to help, they will shift the blame rather than looking inward for growth. Your efforts will go unnoticed because they will not recognize their own role in the situation. Instead of changing, they cling to excuses. Real growth happens when someone decides to confront their own mistakes, not when they look for someone to blame. Love and kindness should be extended with wisdom. It is not about giving endlessly, but about knowing when your help is truly needed. God has blessed you with discernment, and it's essential to use it wisely. Helping someone who is not ready or willing to change only fosters dependency rather than growth. You must be able to step back when you realize that your support is only keeping someone stagnant. People who refuse to accept wisdom and correction will always remain in their cycles of poor choices. If they constantly reject advice, dismiss it, or show no interest in personal growth, there's little you can do to change their situation. God's truth is there for those who are willing to listen. If they are not open to that truth, your help will feel futile. You cannot carry someone who refuses to walk in the right direction. A fool rejects wisdom and doesn't seek to improve. No matter how much help you offer, they will not recognize its value. They'll continue making the same mistakes because they lack the humility to learn. The right person embraces growth, seeks guidance, and listens to wisdom. Don't waste your energy on someone who refuses to take responsibility and learn from their mistakes. Let them face the consequences of their actions as a lesson. If someone continually asks for help only when they need something from you, it's a red flag. They view you as a resource, not as someone to nurture or value. True relationships are reciprocal. where both parties give and take with love and respect. If they only show up when it's convenient for them, then they are not offering anything of substance in return. Your time and energy are precious. Don't invest them where they aren't appreciated. Real love, true friendship, and deep connection are all based on mutual respect. When you give without receiving anything in return, it creates an imbalance. That imbalance causes resentment and ultimately drains you. It's important to evaluate whether the person you're helping values your presence and support. Are they genuinely grateful, or do they just expect more? You deserve relationships that are built on appreciation and reciprocity. Some people will manipulate your emotions to keep you tethered to their needs. They play on your guilt and fear, creating scenarios that make you feel obligated to help. But this kind of manipulation is not true love or care, it's emotional control. Do not let guilt sway your decisions. Your kindness should not be a tool for someone else's personal gain. Recognize these tactics and protect your peace by not falling into their trap. Helping those who consistently reject your guidance only leads to frustration. If they're unwilling to grow or listen, then your efforts are wasted. It's important to recognize when your words and advice are not being received with an open heart. The person you're helping should be receptive and willing to make changes, not dismiss the truth that could save them. Love means encouraging growth, not enabling complacency. Not every problem is yours to solve. There are people whose struggles are not meant to be carried by you. God places different assignments on each of our lives, and you must be aware of when a situation is not part of your calling. Sometimes stepping back and allowing people to face their consequences is the best way to help them. Let God guide you to focus on what He has prepared for you. When someone only wants help when they are in crisis, but never tries to change their behavior, it is a sign that they are not ready for the transformation you're offering. They are merely caught in a cycle of seeking rescue rather than change. You cannot force someone to improve if they have no desire to change themselves. True help is for those who want to break free from their patterns, not just those who want to be pulled out of their latest mess. Helping someone who does not listen to the wisdom God provides is a sign that they are not in a position to receive your help. It can feel like a losing battle, and in many ways it is. Your guidance, no matter how well-intentioned, will fall on deaf ears if their hearts are closed. There is no growth in this type of relationship, only stagnation. Know when it's time to step away and let them come to their own understanding. Those who reject the opportunity to help themselves will always be in a state of need. They are waiting for you to carry them, but you can't help them unless they make an effort to stand on their own. If they are unwilling to take action or make changes, they will never see the results you are hoping to help them achieve. You must let them take responsibility for their own actions and make the necessary changes. The right help is empowering, not enabling. Some people you encounter are lazy, not struggling. There is a difference between someone who needs a hand up and someone who needs to be pushed to move forward. If a person refuses to work toward their own growth, your help will simply be wasted. Help should inspire change, not sustain stagnation. Don't feed laziness when you should be encouraging effort. If a person brings drama and chaos into your life every time they ask for help, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. Drama disrupts your peace, and where there is no peace, there is no growth. God calls us to be peacemakers, not to perpetuate turmoil. When a person's needs are constantly accompanied by conflict, you must distance yourself. Protect your spirit and your peace. God doesn't call us to constantly battle in someone else's war. Sometimes the best way to help is to let people experience the consequences of their choices. It's in those moments that growth occurs. When you step back, you give them the space to change and make better decisions. The right help encourages self-reliance, not dependence. Let go of those who want to stay stuck in their mess. Helping people who are always in a state of need without offering any effort to improve their situation can create bitterness and resentment. It's a form of enabling that does not lead to change. God calls us to be wise with our resources. Your help should guide people to take charge of their lives, not to keep them in a constant state of needing rescue. People who continually reject God's wisdom will never accept your help. Their hearts are hardened, and no matter how much you try, your efforts will fall on deaf ears. These people are not meant for you to fix. Leave them to God's work and trust that He will handle what you cannot. Sometimes it's in the absence of help that someone learns to lean into God. Some people only seek help so they can continue making the same poor choices. They do not desire change. They only desire relief from the consequences of their actions. Each time you extend your hand, they return to their old ways, expecting you to save them again. This cycle is not growth, it is dependency. True help should lead to transformation, not repeated failure. If a person refuses to change, your help only enables their stagnation. A person who constantly avoids accountability will never truly grow. They will always have an excuse, always shift the blame, and always find a reason why they are not at fault. No matter how much wisdom you share, they will reject it in favor of their own justifications. These individuals do not seek improvement, they seek validation for their behavior. Helping them only reinforces their unwillingness to change. Accountability is the foundation of growth, and without it, nothing changes. You cannot force transformation on someone who does not desire it. No matter how much effort you invest, no matter how many times you guide them, they will not change unless they are willing. God gives each person free will, and some choose to remain in their struggles. Your role is not to force their journey, but to recognize when your time with them has ended. Let go and trust that God will reach them in His own way. God provides opportunities for change, but not everyone accepts them. Some people are so comfortable in their suffering that they reject the doors He opens. If you continue to push them toward a better path when they are not ready, you are working against God's timing. Step back and allow them to come to their own realization. Sometimes the greatest lesson comes from walking the hard road alone. Only then will they see the need for true change. If helping someone is leaving you empty, it is time to step away. God never intended for you to deplete yourself in an endless effort to fix someone else's life. Your energy, peace, and spirit are valuable, and they must be preserved for those who genuinely seek guidance. When helping another turns into a one-sided sacrifice, it is no longer love, it is servitude. Learn to say no without guilt and trust that God will handle the rest. Some people do not want solutions, they want a constant audience for their struggles. They thrive in drama, chaos, and crisis, and they will always have a new problem for you to solve. No matter how much advice or assistance you give, their situation never improves. This is because they are not interested in breaking free from their cycle. They want sympathy, not transformation. Helping them only fuels their need for attention rather than progress. If someone's presence in your life is causing more harm than good, you must reevaluate their role. Every person you associate with either builds you up or tears you down. When you invest in those who drain you, you have less energy for those who truly matter. Not everyone deserves access to your time and kindness. Protect your space, your peace, and your spirit by setting firm boundaries. When you do, you open the door for better connections. When a person continues to repeat the same mistakes despite constant guidance, it is a sign that they are not ready for change. They may express regret, they may apologize, but their actions remain the same. Words mean nothing without follow-through. If someone truly desires to grow, their behavior will reflect that decision. Do not waste your time trying to force transformation on someone unwilling to take responsibility for their own life. Some people have been sent into your life as distractions, not assignments. They consume your energy, divert your focus, and leave you feeling drained. You may think you are helping them, but in reality, they are preventing you from fulfilling your true calling. When God has given you a purpose, you must be mindful of who you allow into your life. Not every struggle is yours to carry, and not every person is meant to walk beside you. When helping someone takes you away from your own purpose, it is no longer an act of love, it is a burden. Your calling requires your full attention, and when you are constantly pulled into someone else's chaos, you risk losing sight of what God has planned for you. Some people are not your mission, they are obstacles placed in your path. Letting go is not selfish, it is necessary for your growth and fulfillment. If God has told you to walk away, do not ignore his voice. Many people continue helping out of guilt or obligation, even when they know deep down that they should step back. Disobedience in this area can lead to unnecessary pain and exhaustion. Trust that when God says no, he is protecting you from something you cannot yet see. Your obedience is more important than your emotions. Let go and trust his direction. Your emotion should not override God's wisdom. It is easy to get caught up in feelings of compassion, guilt, or even fear of disappointing others. But if God has given you a warning, listen. Emotional attachments can blind you to the truth, making it harder to recognize when your help is doing more harm than good. Ask God for discernment, and do not let emotions lead you into situations that drain your spirit. There is a difference between helping and enabling. Helping encourages growth, while enabling fosters dependency. If someone is relying on you for everything but making no effort to change, you are not helping them, you are holding them back. God calls us to uplift, not to carry people who refuse to stand on their own. Recognize the difference and have the courage to step away when needed. When a person continually dishonors your kindness, you are not obligated to continue giving. True gratitude is reflected in actions, not just words. If someone constantly takes from you without appreciation, they do not value your help. Your kindness is not meant to be wasted on those who only seek to use you. Set boundaries and invest in those who respect and appreciate your presence. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it is necessary. You cannot pour into others if you are constantly drained. Helping someone should not come at the cost of your own well-being. If a relationship is toxic, draining, or consistently one-sided, it is time to step away. You deserve peace, and God does not call you to live in a state of emotional depletion. Choose to protect your spirit over pleasing others. If a person refuses to change, let them experience the consequences of their choices. Pain is often the greatest teacher, and some lessons can only be learned through personal struggle. By constantly stepping in, you prevent them from facing the reality of their actions. Let them fall, let them learn, and let God do the work that only he can do. Sometimes the best help is no help at all. God is not the author of confusion, and where there is constant drama, there is no peace. If helping someone always leads to stress, arguments, and complications, it is a sign that your help is misplaced. Pay attention to the patterns in your interactions. When something repeatedly disrupts your life, it is often God's way of telling you to step back. Peace is a sign of his presence. If it is absent, reevaluate your role. Jesus helped those who had faith and a desire to be made whole. He did not force healing on those who rejected it. Likewise, your help should be directed toward those who genuinely seek transformation. If someone continually refuses wisdom, your help is wasted. Follow Christ's example, help those who are ready, but do not force yourself into the lives of those who are unwilling to change. When someone repeatedly ignores wisdom, they are not in a position to receive your help. No matter how much you try, they will continue down the same destructive path. This is not your battle to fight. Pray for them, release them, and trust that God will reach them in His own time. Forcing help on someone who rejects wisdom is like pouring water into a broken vessel. It will never hold. The best thing you can do for some people is to let them go. Holding on out of fear or guilt only prolongs the inevitable. God knows what He is doing, and when He removes someone from your life, it is for a reason. Trust Him, release the burden, and move forward. What He has for you is greater than anything you are afraid to lose. Letting go is not failure, it is faith.